Where'd we play?
Welcome to the Golf Loons podcast, where the round doesn't end on the 18th green.
Where'd we play?
Agile. Yeah. All right. Welcome back to the latest installment of the Golf Loons podcast. I'm your co-host, Glenn, my other co-host, Twig. We are sweaty, hot, tired after our first warm weather round of the year played at Chaska Town Course today.
Finally got to wear the shorts this year. No knit caps. We had a great day. No, it was like 80 degrees, even by like noon, 80 or low 80s. And it was just really nice to play in warm weather.
It felt good. As a promise to our listeners, we don't shower, we don't relax after when they come back. We come right off the course. It's smelly in here. The Loons nest probably smells like a medieval dungeon in Game of Thrones, but we're here to bring our fresh thoughts on Chaska Town Course today. Before we get going, let's pay some bills with our friends with Yellowbird.
Yeah, and again, our weekly thanks to Yellowbird Coffee and its owner JP. 2 locations, St. Paul, Northeast Minneapolis. Pop into either Yellowbird location. They've got great coffee, and most importantly, their employees are great, and JP is a tremendous owner, a good person. So go on and have some community and conversation.
Coffee, community, conversation, right? That's right. Okay. Before we get into today, also, if we could just ask our listeners and our viewers to follow us on Instagram. Check out our website, golfloons.com. Instagram is golfloonsmn. We're on X. We're on YouTube. Same handle. And we look forward to, conversing with everybody there. They can see our photos, see some of our thoughts that go beyond what we mentioned on the podcast. So if you could check those out, that would be great, and give us a follow. Let's jump into today. We had a great guest, one of your close personal friends, Matt Bertram.
Yeah, it was fun golfing with Bertie. And our emergency 9, I think, it turned out really fun and has some good answers and some good thoughts from him. But I golf with Bertie. I've been golfing with him since high school. We golf probably weekly, close to that. But it was fun to have him on as a guest, and you've got to know him a bit through, just since he's one of my good buddies, and he's always great to golf with, regardless of how he's playing. Fun partner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we played a fun course, Chaska Town Course, considered, I would say, one of the top 10 metro area public courses that you can find, for good reason. It is a great course. We'll get into that more. But just a great day, great guest, great weather, great golf course. I don't think we could do season 1 of the Golf Loons without including Chaska Town Course in here. It's a popular one. We will get out of the Southwest Metro eventually. We've mostly we've covered a very small diameter on the map so far, but we'll branch out after this one.
Yeah, life's been busy. With our daughter just graduated high school this last week. We had a graduation party at her house this weekend. So, and other things going on with the end of the school year. I'm a teacher, so we've been kind of keeping things kind of close to home. But Chaska Town, when we made our list of courses we wanted to hit, it was in our first 6 or 10 that we listed.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't want to go further without congratulating Alice on graduating from Southwest Christian. Big moment for Dad. Your final child now out of high school. So, I mean, the sky's the limit for her and for you now.
It was a great weekend celebrating Alice, and we had a lot of relatives in town. Popping in either for the graduation ceremony or the open house at our house. And it just fun seeing her enjoy that. And we're awfully proud of her, and it'll be exciting to see where she goes next. But it's a great couple days.
And she is going next to
Hope College in Michigan.
which
So I had never heard of it. It's about 8 hours from here. It's beautiful. It's like in the kind of the southwest part of Michigan, and not too far from Lake Michigan, in a quaint town. Also important to note, it's close to a lot of really good golf courses. So my wife's been rolling her eyes as Alice's brother Charlie and I have been scoping out the distance to Forest Dunes, Arcadia Bluffs, all sorts of courses. But it's going to be really fun to watch her go there and see what the next 4 years hold for her. So.
yeah. And we'll have to have some conversations. Does Golf Loons expand one more state over, include Michigan? And then I'll just show up with you guys to Parents Weekend.
Uncle Glenn, Uncle Glenn. Bertie and I and JP and my friend Piggy are going up into northern Michigan later this summer, and it's actually only about 3 hours from Hope. So I could see if that trip is as good as we think it's going to be to Forest Dunes, I could see Uncle Glenn coming to some family weekends to celebrate Alice and golf.
Family is the most important thing. So I'll happily do that. All right. Well, let's get into Twigs Gimmies for Chaska Town Course. Like I said, perfect day. Played in, our listeners won't hear this till later, but Memorial Day was the day we played. So the course in fairly good condition. I would say, well, we'll get into some of the specifics, but let's get into Twigs Gimmies. Pick it up. Twig, number one, another friendly handshake hole to start off.
Yeah, it's a downhill par 4. There's a bunker off to the left that I think is a good target to kind of cut your ball off of. It's a really hard fairway to hit, and so don't stress out if you miss a little bit to the right and you're in the rough. But I do, one wish I have is that they would make the fairway wider. And then typically take about 10 yards off in your approach. If you miss short or left, it's actually not that bad of an up and down, especially if the pin's in the middle or kind of front portion. If it's in the back, it can get a little trickier, but a miss short or left's okay, but take a little bit off on your approach, but kind of a gentle handshake.
Sure. It gets harder, number 2, long par 4.
Number 2 is a meaty par 4, and I feel like it's if you can walk off of that with a 4, you're happy. The bigger hitters, you can push your drive up on the right to the right of the fairway bunkers and have a little shorter entry in. But if you're just a normal hitter like myself or Bertie, you're probably going to be short of the bunkers and add about 10 yards onto your approach. And anything on the green is terrific in 2. If you miss a little bit short or a little left or a little deep, it's actually not a bad up and down. Short right is kind of the thing to avoid on that.
Yeah. All right. Then we get into number 3, which is a tantalizing par 4.
It's a really fun hole. It's
birdie alert. We had two birdies there today.
We did. It's a drivable par 4 for a lot of people, and there's a big tree in the middle of the fairway that you kind of have to navigate. So there's a narrow alley to the left. So even the hole's 245 or 250, depending on, if you're right around the tees we played, which is kind of about 6,400. It's only about 200 and I would say 10 yards to the crest of the hill. And if you can just get it over that, it drops pretty quickly. And especially later in the summer, when it gets firm, you can run ones up onto the front of the green, even with a 3-wood sometimes. So it's a fun hole. You can hit drivers, you can try to pound it over the tree. You can play it up the little alley left, which is what we always try to do. Because it's, when you're our age and our level, there aren't a lot of par 4s you can drive. So it's fun to try to drive it, or you can play up to the right of the tree and you have a little wedge in.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty small green with water behind. So I love holes where there's 4 or 5 different ways to play it. And to me, it's really enjoyable. We had 2 of the 3 of us birdied it today, which was kind of fun. But I've had everything on that hole from a 2, from an eagle, all the way to an 8. So it's a lot can happen.
Yeah. The clarification that the 2 birdies were not, only one was in this room. Yeah. And Bertie, our guest, got the other one. So
you had a nice par.
Yeah. I was happy with the par.
Yeah.
On to short par 3 at number 4.
I love short par 3s. So I wish every course had like a sand wedge or a wedge or a 9-iron par 3, and this one's no different. Today it was a wedge for us. The pin was up front, which and it's the fattest part of the green. So if the pin's kind of front or middle, you're playing to the fat of the green. It's not that difficult of a tee shot in general with the wedge in your hand. Once they start pushing the pin past the center or back left, it's really hard. And anything left of the green is dead. Short of the green is dead. So I always, if you can just hit it to the middle of the green, you're in good shape no matter where the pin is. You and I both kind of hit it a little bit long in the rough, and it's not a horrible up and down. You're for sure not going to make worse than bogey, right? If you go a little deep, but middle of the green is good on that, but a fun short par 3.
It reminds me a lot of the par 3 fourth hole at Windsong.
Oh yeah.
Very similar feel to that. Just kind of over a gulch, not too far.
Yep.
Fairly simple approach shot. So, so on to number 5, and this is decision time.
There's a split fairway. You can play it left, and you have a better angle into the green. I always play it out to the right. There's just more room out there, and you typically, if you can hit a hybrid or a 3-wood, 190 to 210 yards, you hit a great tee ball. You had 120 yards into the green ish, 125, 130.
Yeah.
And so I typically will play out to the right. And there's the tricky part of this hole, I think, once you get it in play, is on your approach, there's a spine kind of almost in the middle of the green. And if the pin's left of it, you really want to be on the correct side of the spine. And so the pin was just on barely over the right side of it. I hit on the left side of the green, and I 3-putted. It was a really hard 3-putter with a spine. So that's the one. Just getting it on the green isn't okay. Like if you can be a little bit more detailed, I think, with your approach on that. Bertie tried to go left. No bueno. It was not good. I've only seen people go left a handful of times where it's worked out. It seems
off the tee,
off the tee.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. If you go for it's kind of a smaller target, and I don't know that the risk is worth the reward, because watching your shot, you hit a really nice little stinger off the tee, 200 yards, and you had 130 in, which isn't a horrible distance.
Yeah.
So
You're just carrying a lot more water from the right side than the left.
a little bit more.
But trying to land it on that left side is not easy.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Watch the spine.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So then we go to number 6, a longer par 3.
Yeah, kind of a mid-length par 3. I was playing 180 today. The green, there's not a ton of the green. There's some subtle breaks. There's a subtle ridge that kind of goes through it. It was on the left side of the ridge. So if you can kind of be on the right, on the same portion of the green in regards to the ridge, that's better. But usually with no wind, we'll take probably 5 yards off on the tee shot. Chaska is always fairly breezy.
Yeah.
It seems like it's an open course, which I like. But if there's no wind, then maybe take 5 yards off on the yardage. But kind of a straightforward. A miss a little deep is better than a little short in the bunkers, I think.
Yeah. All right. So number 7, the one handicap hole. That I think that's debatable, but it was my demise. The start of my demise. Number 7, par 5.
Yeah, there's a lot of room off the tee, so let it fly. And then if you hit a good drive, you have decision time. There's a kind of a ravine that bisects the second half of the hole. It kind of goes up by the green, and so you have to be, if you're confident you can carry that, it's great if you can get on there, because then you're either going to be on the green or you have a fairly short, no nonsense chip into the green. By and large, I think most of the time we lay up. And you have to lay up kind of in the left half of the fairway. And if you can do that, you usually have a wedge or a 9. And do a pretty straightforward, there's a little break in it, but not a lot going on in the green. But to me, it's a second shot hole. Most people, you're going to get your drive into play. And then if you're great with your 3-wood and your long hybrids and your long irons, awesome, go for it. But I think it's fun because, again, you can have a better player can have a real good chance at an eagle, but that really good player can also get a 7 or an 8 if they don't execute in the second shot.
Yeah. Okay. Go to number 8, a straightaway par 4.
Yeah, bunkers on the right, plenty of room on the left. And so I think this is one at Chaska Town. If you can get your tee-ball into play, if you're hitting your tee-ball well, you can score well in the course. You'll have like a mid to short iron into the green. And I don't think it's that tricky of a green to putt. So again, if you can kind of stay out of the bunkers on the right, and if you do miss a little short left or even a touch long, the up and downs typically aren't too bad if you're not in the sand on that hole. So that, to me, if you hit a good drive, it's a birdie opportunity.
Right. All right. Then rounding out the front 9, another par 5 dogleg right.
Number 9, the first bunker on the right is, depending on the tees, it's maybe 220 to 240 or 250 from the tee. Don't go in there. If you go in there, you're gonna have a hard time making par. It's a really steep face. So there's a bunker that's to the left that's farther up there. You had an unbelievable drive and you still didn't reach the bunker. So I think that's a good line. Aim at the far left bunker. It's a bunker that's shared with the 10th fairway. If you hit into that bunker, you can still get out and make par, it's not that deep of a bunker, but you've hit a heck of a tee shot. So if you can just avoid that bunker on the right, and then there's a ton of room on your second shot. You can swing away, and it plays a little bit uphill, so you're probably going to have I've never seen anybody hit the green in 2. Our son Charlie can pound it pretty good, and he's been close, but it's a hard green to hit in 2. So you're probably going to have a wedge or a short iron in for your third shot, and add a club on into the green. And the green's fairly small, and if you land it past the midpoint, it's going to probably kick over. So you have to be pretty exact with your yardage. But I think it's another good par 5.
Yep. All right. That ends the front 9. Quick turnaround. We did not stop. We stepped on it.
We were lightly scolded on the 8th hole, and I'm going to sound like one of the 4th graders I teach. Like, we kind of felt like we were being unfairly targeted.
Yeah, we finished our front.
She was
9
nice about it
in 2 hours.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
2. I would say 2:05.
Yeah.
So I don't think we were off pace at all.
Yeah,
but
so we hustled after 9.
We did, and that's okay. So
yeah,
it's good to keep your heart rate up.
Yeah.
So number 10, par 4, like you said, it shares a fairway with number 9.
Yeah. So there's a grove of trees to the right off the tee, and then there's the bunker to the left. So it's actually the best driving target is straight away. It's a pretty narrow fairway. So if you can hit that, you're going to be rewarded with the short iron into that green, which is kind of a slopey green. You can pull it way left, and if you're left of that fair bunker, you're still in a fairway, which is kind of nice. So you can blast it way left. You're not going to have as good of an angle. So the line of charm is to split the grove of trees on the right in the fairway bunker. And if you can do that, again, you're going to have no more than a 7-iron, I would say 7-iron to a wedge. And there's some tough pins on it. It's a back to front slope green. And we had the pin today was kind of just over the bunker in the front of the green. It was tricky. It was kind of nice slope. You made an awesome putt for par. Nice downhill. Nice job. Yep. But I think it's, again, one of those, if you can get your T-ball into play, it's another second shot.
Okay. Now we go to 11. Everyone's got an opinion on number 11 at Chaska Town Course. Tough hole. Par 4. Water comes into play. Can come into play in a tee shot. There's trees on the right. I know you've got some strong feelings about number 11.
11's a really hard hole. It's long. I think it was playing close to 450 into the wind today. So it's long that way. You can, if you hit your drive way to the end of the fairway, you pounded it into the wind and you still didn't quite reach the water. If you hit it 300 plus, you might go into the water.
But if you go a little further left,
or left, it might be in the water. So there's water and kind of junk on the left. It's a fairly wide fairway, but if you're in the right half of the fairway, for sure the right third, you almost either have to just lay up because there's trees on the right. The part I don't like about this hole is the trees encroach too much on the right. There's 4 trees I would love to just, cut down and then have a little more of an angle in from the right. So I was probably on the right third of the fairway, and I had to hit like a big cut around those to have a chance to get it on the green on the second shot. So it's not very forgiving on the second shot. In my mind, when I play that hole, I always think it's a par 5. So if I can make bogey, the worst case scenario of my drive, I've hit the green a few times, but typically I'm short or I'm laying up if it's into the wind around that grove of trees.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to think of it as a par 5. There's a bunker left of the green that can swallow up balls. It's not a horrible up and down from there, but if you can be on the green in 3, 2 putt for your bogey, that's just fine. But to me, a par is like a birdie on that hole.
Yeah.
So favor the left half off the fairway on your tee shot, and then you have a long iron in. Again, if you miss a little bit short or even a touch to the right, it's not a horrible up and down.
Right.
Left is trouble all the way up.
Yep. Then we go to 12, a par 3.
Yeah, and it's a sneaky. It's a mid iron. It's typically around 165 to maybe 170 yards is what most groups will play at tee wise. The back tees are a little farther. The green kind of plays small. It's a fairly small target, so I don't even worry about where the pin is so much as okay, the middle's 170. I just want to hit at 170. And if I can get into the middle of the green, there really isn't going to be a pin where I'm going to have a hard time putting to one direction or the other.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, that hole was a mess for me to do too.
yeah. So if you're deep, it's hard. If you're left, it's probably in the water. Short is a hard up and down. So again, middle of the green, I just think, and I like simple. I'm a simple thinker. So
Right.
middle of the green.
Okay. Now 13, another hole where Chaska Town requires some thought going into your tee shot.
Yeah, and the wind can play havoc. So it's kind of a gentle dog leg right, and there's a creek or a marsh that runs left to right. So if you hit a left to right ball like I do, or like a lot of people do, if you overcut it a little bit, it's into the wind, that water hazard will swallow up a lot of balls. There's a bunker that's in the distance. That's just always a good target. I even play left of that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're a little bit left of it, if you're in the fairway, you're going to be no more than 140 yards probably from the green. And so it's usually a short to mid iron in if you can get it into play. So air a little farther left than farther right if you're not confident in your tee shot. And then the green slopes front to back, which is unusual. Not a lot of, and so today the pin was up front. If it's a front pin, it's really hard to snuggle it up close. But the advantage, if you hit a little bit past it, you've got an uphill putt, which is nice. When the pins are like the middle to the back of the green, it's a little simpler putting. But when it's in the front, it's a tricky pin position. So
yeah, all right, yeah. You're short, you're in trouble, and if you hit it too well and straight, you could be in trouble. You could run through and have the tall stuff on the other side. So there's some different ways to hurt you on that hole, even if you hit a good shot.
To be on the green and two, you have to hit 2 good shots. Yeah, which is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we go to 14. This is our final par 3 of the day.
Yeah.
Fairly simple.
Yeah, fairly simple, and it I don't know. It's kind of favors a little bit of a cut the way that the green's situated in there. And it's going to play about the yardage. It might play a touch downhill, but it's going to play about the yardage. I just think in this one, if you're over, it's really hard. Like there's mounds that are over the green, and if you're in the bunker above, past the green, that's a harder up and down than a little bit shorter, even if you're on the left front of the green to try to two-putt something. So,
okay. Then where were you? 15, or first par 5 on the bag 9.
Par 5, room left. So do not try to flirt as I did today with the right. It slopes, everything kicks right into a little creek kind of marsh hazard area. And it's really hard to make par if you're in there. So favor the left. Even if you're in the left rough, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
But everything kind of just, especially once you're in the right third of the fairway, just kind of like drifts off to the right and kind of kicks balls right. And then you're in trouble.
And I would say the big hitters, driver might not be the best option, because I hit a good drive and I was just short of the marsh straight ahead. So there's guys that can hit it a lot farther than me that may want to watch it there.
Yeah. So if you're a guy that hits it 3+, depending on the wind and the tees, yeah, you may hit it through. Most of you are going to be laying up right. There's a big tree to kind of on the right rough. That's just a bit, if you can lay up somewhere a little bit left of that, it's a pretty simple pitch on the green. To hit the green in 2 takes 2 really good shots, because you have to almost hit a high draw upper on the trees on the left, which is not a shot that a lot of people have.
Right.
So nothing wrong. Or you can push it up if you want to pound a 3-wood or a hybrid up way up right by the bunker that's close to the green. It's a fairly simple pitch too.
Yeah. Okay. So now we go to 16, another short par 4, drivable for some.
Yeah, fun. It's a really fun hole. It's elevated tee. For a lot of people, it's gonna be drivable. So that's always fun when you can do that. There's out of bounds left. If you don't think you can reach it, but if you want to be able to see on your second shot, this is kind of a cool part of the hole. If you play like the left third of the fairway, if you find that little ribbon or that strip, then you're going to be able to see the green on your second shot unobstructed. which is always easier, I think, to hit a shot if you can see the whole flag and the green and all that. If you're on the right 2/3 of the fairway, you might get a glimpse of the flag, or you might not be able to see any of it. So the fairway is pretty easy to hit, I would say, and then you're going to have a sand wedge or a wedge in. And depending where you are, it could be an awkward shot, but I like that you can drive, you can try to drive the green, you can lay up left and have a little view of the green, or you can lay up right to where it's the easiest part to hit, and then you're going to have a little harder second shot.
Yep.
Not a whole lot going on in the green, but that doesn't have to be, because it's one that you're trying to either drive it or you're trying to hit a semi-blind approach.
For sure. I'm always trying to drive it.
Yeah. You almost did today. You hit it really well. It was hitting high. You were just
way to right. Yeah. Yeah. And when you have a target and you are so far off that target, that's just what boggles my mind about golf. But that's what's entertaining about it, let's say.
So you hit a long drive, and then your second shot, even though you're right, you were kind of obstructed view. So again, hard to get it close, I think, or harder when you can't see the pin.
I'll talk more about 16 later.
Yeah. We want to hear about your 17. Let's talk about 17. Your birdie.
Well, you have birdie alert.
Yeah.
17, good segue.
Skin.
So long par 4, which typically that hole I'm happy to get a 5, but I hit maybe the best 5-iron I've hit in a long time to 2 feet. So
that was one of the best shots I've ever seen you hit.
Yeah. I wish I could have seen it roll up, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. But I lost it when it landed, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it. If it's there by the hole, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I typically don't always play it exactly like that. So how would someone play 17? Long par 4.
Yeah. I mean, there's a fairway bunker to the right, and there's kind of junk to the right. So you're going to be kind of just, obviously you want to be left of the fairway bunker off the tee. And then if you are left of that bunker, you'll be able to see the green in your second shot. Most people, it's going to be a long approach. And you're going to have a long iron or a 3-wood for most people. But the nice thing is, especially once we get into June and July and August and things firm up, you can land it short and run it on, which I like on a long par 4, which I think is a fair thing. So you don't have to try to, clear a bunker in front of the green from 250, which, I mean, who can do that?
Yeah.
Right. Or not many people can. So don't be afraid if you're playing a long club in to try to run it up. And even if you're a little short, it's a fairly straightforward pitch. And again, not a lot going on the green. So it's a green you can get up and down on.
Yeah.
If you're, reasonably close and in the fairway, you're just off a little bit one way or the other. So it's a really good hole. It's a big boy par 4. And I've told Glenn, I think I've seen it birdied twice in all the times I've played it. So if you walk off with the par, you feel like a birdie. A birdie feels like
who else birdie it is?
Well, I've seen my buddy Andrew Turner birdie it once. He birdies everything.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so great. And Glenn had 201. He had a pretty good drives in the right rough. He still has 200 in, and you hit it to about 20 inches. So it was like, pick it up. That was pretty cool.
Appreciate the gimme on that one.
Yeah.
That's why we call it Twigs Gimmies.
Yeah.
All right. 18. I got a lot to say about this hole, but first talk people through it.
So off the tee, there's a bunker that's kind of shorter. And then there's one that's 50 yards past it, kind of defines the end of the fairway. I try to aim at that far one. So a little bit like there's room in the fairway. Longer hitters, you might need to worry about not going into that one. So know your distances. But there's marsh all along the left. It's kind of a gentle dogleg that kind of wraps around this marsh. It's not super hard, I don't think, to get the tee ball into play. It's a really hard second shot. The fairway pinches in about 135 from the green.
Yeah. And
so it pinches onto where it's sort of like 10 yards wide, and then there's a fairway bunker, and then there's a steep hill to the right. So you got to either be, I wasn't that super far in my drive, so I just hit a high ridge short of that, and I had 145 in from a little bit farther, a little fatter part of the fairway. Now, if you have a little better drive than I did, then you can go past that. But again, you're gambling a little bit. So it's a big second shot hole. If you can get past that bunker at 135 or 140, then the fairway widens out a little bit and it's a little flatter. But I would love, and if I could change, and then the green is not the approach into the green's fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
but I wish there was a little more room where that bunker is. If I had my druthers, I'd love to flatten that out and maybe have that be a little more fairway, so it's just a little more forgiving for the bulk of the golfing population.
Yeah.
What you have some thoughts on it? What do you?
Well, I'll get into that when we talk about our most difficult hole.
Yeah. So it's a hard finisher,
and it's the 10 handicap, which which floors me. But we also met our buddy Flash, the snapping turtle, on the green. Of 18, and we'll put some pictures up of him on the gram. But he wasn't too pleased to see us invading his 18th green.
No, he wasn't, but he read my putt, and I had a nice 2-putt from the front of the green. So I like that. Flash was nice. And the one thing after we walked today, we think it's a pretty easy course to walk. There's Hamburger Hill, like to get up to the clubhouse is like you're walking. So by the time you get to the clubhouse, your pulse goes from like 70 to about 170.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And we won't have a review on the cards today after playing a couple courses of just the nicest cards available. But Twig is to blame for that. Twig is a walker when he can. So
I suggested walking today, so it's on me. But
despite my head cold, despite being tired from a weekend of golf, I forged through. You can place the medal around my neck once we wrap up.
God, you're so tough, Glenn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that is Twig's Gimmies. Hopefully that shaves some scores off your next round at Chaska Town Course. Let's move on to the range.
Ready to hit the range? Let's do it. That was good. But again, you got to clear those hips. Yeah, got it. Thanks.
We cover all the topics here. Let's get into our favorite holes. Chaska Town's interesting because I don't know that like all the holes are good. They're nice. How many of them stand out in certain ways, I don't know, but I just know I have ones I really liked. And so I'm going to start. My favorite hole was number 16, or is number 16. I love a hole where it's a par 4 that you can go for it. Both that and hole number 3 are par 4s where you can go for the green. 16 is a little bit more of just let it fly though. And you're not going to be hurt too much with I was 50 yards to the right, but I still had a decent chip shot in. So I love 16. It's a good appetizer before 2 tough finishing holes. And I don't know, there's just something about, I feel comfortable up at the tee box on 16. So I'll go with 16 as my favorite.
Okay. My favorite, might surprise it, number 10.
Okay.
I like that drive, and I like the challenge of it. I feel like, okay, and for some reason I usually hit a decent drive, maybe because I'm focused on a small target.
Yeah.
But I like that, okay, that if I don't hit a good drive, I'm behind the trees or I'm in the bunker or wherever. I have a heart. So I like that. And then if I do hit a good drive, I like that I'm rewarded with the shot in the green. And then I think the green has a lot of stuff going on. So there's some tricky putts, and so you got to be exact. So I think it's a fun hole. You hit 2 good shots, you can make a birdie, and it's a really easy hole to fall into a bogey or a double. So 10 is my favorite.
Well, I'm curious your answer on this one then, the signature hole. Because again, I don't know that Chaska Town has a hole where people walk off and go, that's the hole for Chaska Town. So I'm curious where we both land on this.
I'm going with number 3, and I think they think of it as I've never asked John Count, the head pro, John Count, very nice guy. I've never asked him what he thinks the signature hole is, but the logo has a big tree, which I think is the hole in front of the 3rd green.
Okay.
So for me, I think it's the 3rd hole. I whether it's their signature or not, in my mind, it's the signature hole.
Okay.
What are you going with?
I toss and turn on this one. I'm going to say, maybe because it could be one of my favorites too. I'm going to say number 9.
Okay.
The dog leg par 5 that goes to the right. You're going up towards the clubhouse. 18 is similar where you're going up to the club. I just don't like 18.
Yeah.
I struggle with that one. I like number 9. I like I like that a pro shot up to the green or your second shot. There's just a really cool view of everything in front of you, and you can pound away. And Yeah, I don't know that that's the right answer, but that's what I'm going with. Number 9 is the signature.
Your answer is the right answer. I like that hole too. To me, it's not the signature hole, but I like it. I love shared fairways.
Yeah.
And I wish more courses did it. I just think it's such a cool thing. You don't have to do it every time but when you can, and I love that they do that on. They have kind of a crop, like I don't know what one of those things like with the UFOs, like the crop circles or whatever.
Yes.
They have kind of a big circular patch of rough. I wish they would just make that fairway too, so it's just a huge, even bigger shared fairway. But
Yeah.
I like, you're right. You get up there and you can see a bunch of golf, and then you got the people up at the practice green and the range, and there's just a lot going on. It's cool.
Yeah, I like 9. So
Yeah.
that's my signature. Let's get into the birdie hunting hole. Not Matt Bertram birdie, but where are you finding a birdie on this course?
I think 16. I put 16 as a birdie hole. I think that they even I haven't seen very many people drive the green, but usually if you're close, people with wedges, and I feel like I see a lot of birdies at 16. That's a really good, and it's nice to feel like you got a birdie opportunity coming late in the round.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going with the hole where we saw 2 birdies back to back.
Yeah.
Two nice putts by you and Bertram. But number 3 is the short par 4. I birdied that hole too once before.
Mm-hmm.
It just, you can go any number of ways off the tee and you have a chance at birdie. Of the 5 ways you pick, you still have a chance as long as you don't put it in trees or don't go over the green on your tee shot and in the water. You got a good shot at birdie.
Yeah.
Even if you're in the bunker in front of the green,
yeah,
it's not real difficult up and down.
Yeah.
So agree. Okay. Let's say, all right, toughest hole. I'll start.
Yeah.
I've already hinted at this. I can't believe it's the number 10 handicap. I'm going with 18. I know that number 7 is the number 1 handicap, and I really struggled on that one. Number 11 is considered by many to be one of the toughest holes in the area, but I am going with 18. I just think it is such a, like you said, that the tee shot is fairly simple. You can just put it out there, but then that second shot, there's just that marsh all along the hole, even protects the green. There's a hill to the right. There's just, it's a visually intimidating hole, and I just struggle. I'm going 18 is the toughest hole.
Okay, I'm going with number 11.
Okay.
Yeah. I just think it even if you're on the left side of the fairway and you're in the garden spot, it's still a hard approach, and it's just a hard green to hit into. But especially if you're on the right side of the fairway, it's 4 is a really hard score to get there. So I'm going with 11.
Okay. Your favorite par 3 in the course?
I love number 4, the short wedge. I just, a lot can happen. I like it when the pin is where it was today up in the front portion, but every now and then it's fun when it's in the back, and it's such a challenge to see people try to get close to it. So I like number 4.
I'm going with 4 as well.
Yeah.
I also agree with you. I think short par 3s are fun. Just working on your, the shot that's 120 or less.
Yeah.
And just take an aim at it. That's what golf is all about for me. So
when I win Powerball someday, I'm going to build a course, and it's going to have a short par 3.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
All right. Where would you put it? Right at the start of the front 9.
Oh, within the round?
Yeah.
I would put it on the back 9. I would put it like 15 or 16.
Okay. I like it. Have you ever played a course where you start out on par 3?
Alice played Oakdale this year. By the way, I want to play Oakdale. Oh, it's in Buffalo Lake.
Yeah.
Starts with the par 3.
That's been added to our list.
Yeah. I was super impressed with that course. That one, I don't know if I've played. Madden's has one. Madden's Pine Beach East. You start off with it, and it's really nerve wracking because you're right in front of like the clubhouse and people are eating it. It's a hard start. So that's one I can think of. I don't know. Can you think of one that you've?
No,
the par 3?
I don't think I can. I can think of many scrambles where I've shotgunned up start on par 3, but no, I can't think of a number 1 par 3 that I push.
Yeah.
So, okay. I'll go to the best par 4. And again, these don't always match up with our favorites or the signature hole. But I'm going to go the best par 4 is 13. It is a pretty hole. Like I said, there's decisions to be made. You can be penalized even if you try to play it smart, you can be penalized. And if you hit a really good drive, you can be penalized. But I think it's still a good hole, and it's a thinking man or woman's hole.
Okay. I think the best par 4 is number 2. I think you can, if you're a bomber, you can try to carry those bunkers on the left or play it up the right to a smaller target to get closer. But for most people, it's a mid to long iron, and I like how I don't hit the ball particularly high or far, but I can run. I'm okay at running hybrids on or 3. So I like that I've got an option to run something up there, and I still feel like I've got a way to get up there. There's no bunkers up by the green, which I think is always kind of cool when they didn't have fielding. So I like how the green sets up there on the top of the hill. So I think number 2 is a really great par 4.
A good challenging hole for
Yeah.
sure. Okay. The best par 5.
I think number 9 is.
Yeah.
I feel like 7 would be if you could make that opening a little bit bigger for the second shot. If you could take out but just take out those trees on both sides of the ravine. I think that would make that a little more doable to try to get there in 2.
Yeah.
So, but no, I think 9's a great. You have to have a good drive. The first 2 shots have to be pretty good, and then you're still going to have to hit a decent wedge to get close on the third. So I like 9.
Okay. I mean, I'll agree with that. 9. I mean, it was one of my favorite holes, and again, we're always a little biased how we play the hole, and that was a par 5 I played the best today. But I enjoy that hole. I think it's a good challenge. It's uphill at the end, and even if you hit 2 really good shots, you still got to make a nice. More than likely, you're going to have a third shot coming in, and you got to make a nice third shot. So
yes,
so I'm going with 9 as well.
all right.
Okay, so a couple things I really like about Chaska Town. We played pretty quickly. Got through 4 hours, 10 minutes.
Yep.
I would say that's pretty good for a Memorial Day
Yep.
in the morning. One thing I will say is a lot of the greens, so we were on the practice green, and that thing was chewed up.
Yeah.
And it sort of felt that way for the first 5 or 6 holes, too. Like the greens were not in the best shape.
Yeah, the fairways were really good. There wasn't really a lot of winter kill, so I thought the fairways were good start to finish, especially for May.
Yep.
We were a little nervous after the putting green, and I don't know if it was Poa Anna that's creeping in, or if it was winter kill. But after about the 6th hole, then it kind of evened out, and then the back 9 they were great. Yeah. So I think that'll be, they'll all be probably rolling really smooth very soon. But overall, I would say the condition of the course was really good. Just those first half dozen greens, were not great.
Yep. Okay.
For me. So
the beverage cart made an appearance at least 3 times when we were out there. All well timed. I don't think we were ever searching one out. So kudos to her.
Yep.
Great job. What else did you like and notice?
I always, every time I play at Chaska Town Course, I think they're really friendly and warm in the pro shop. It's a small kind of quaint pro shop. I like how they treat you. And I think, so I always think the starters are very nice. And so I think the whole vibe there is very welcoming. Yeah. And if you live in Chaska too, especially, it's a great deal. If you don't live in Chaska, you don't get the resident rates. So the price is starting to creep up. I think it was $90 for us to walk.
93 to walk today.
Yeah, 93, which is getting up there.
Yep.
For sure, price wise. But the restaurant Oak 19, we didn't eat there today, but we got a few drinks there, but they're always really on the ball, and they have good food there too. So and it's got a really nice, for before, during, after, all like the way they treat you is really, really well.
And they were good about correcting a mishap that was your fault, not mine. You want to tell that story?
Yeah. Yeah. So I got Glenna's beer. I got precious Glenna's beer, his Kona beer, and then Bertie and I were moving the picnic table for our interview after, and so I'm going to put it in my pocket. And as I was moving, it was a pretty heavy table. I was concerned about Bertie's back. But
We
I
all are.
had this, yeah, I had this beer, and my keychain must have punctured, or it did puncture a hole in there. And all of a sudden, I was like, "What?" So my wallet, everything got flooded with Kona beer.
Yeah, my Kona Big Wave exploded in your shorts.
Yeah, so it was almost like that was the start of like in college. How I used to see kids shotgun beers. I'm not sure that I ever did it myself,
right.
but I saw how to do it. But it looked like, and you brought it back in, and
Well,
they
yeah, then I
exchanged it.
come out and Twig shows me he's cradling this beer on its side. Like, well, Glenn, you want to shotgun this? And it was 11:30 on Memorial Day, so I wasn't quite in the shotgunning. I'm 47. I haven't shotgunned in a while. So then I take the can on life support, bring it in, and the bartender was very nice about it. Just got me another Kona. So
We get marks for that.
well, yeah, that's
And the other thing is, too, JP was supposed to join us today. And as the owner of a business, sometimes somebody couldn't make it for the first shift to open things up. So he had to cover. It doesn't happen very often, but it did. So he's the owner. And Twig started. And so we teed off at 7:10, and about 6:50, I got the text from JP that he wasn't going to make it. And so I explained it to the person in Pro Shop, and she, oh, no problem at all. Very nice. I mean, they have your credit card. They can ding you. I don't think many courses do that anymore, but they can.
But they
and
did.
she was totally cool about it. And so they're very easygoing and easy to work with.
Yeah. Okay. So great day at Chaska Town. Even better that we golf with Bertie. So you sat down with Bertie for the emergency 9. Let's take our emergency 9 break right now.
Hey, hon, how are you? Oh, that's awesome. Hey, listen, we still have 9 holes to go here today. It is really backed up out here. I'm sorry. I love you. Thanks again. Okay, love you. Bye. We're good.
2, 3.
All right, we're here with Matt Bertram. Our guest this week, we just got off a Chaska Town Course, had a great round. Nobody played exceptionally well,
No.
but it was a fun day.
Everybody had a birdie.
Everybody had a birdie. You got to tell us about your birdie.
Well, it was on top of yours, so that was the best part of it.
Hole 3.
Yeah.
Hole 3, really good. But yeah, we've got emergency 9 right now. We're going to ask Bertie 9 questions, and we've got Glenn Andreessen, my co-host, on the camera. He may chime in from time to time if you hear a voice. But Bertie, to get us started, what's your golf story? Tell us your golf story.
Kind of my first memory of golf was grew up in Edina, and across from our house, our neighbor, they were the dad was vice president of the Twins, and so they were members at Hazeltine, and not to name drop a couple things, but and
No big deal.
he had like an old set of clubs in his garage, and you know, I was pretty tall at 11, so he's like, hey, would you like these, you know, and they were ping, and so my first set was a adult pair of ping irons, and yeah, it's been great ever since.
Yeah. And Bertie, you love golf. I mean, out of Bertie and our closed circuit, we're great friends, longtime friends.
Yeah.
Out of all my friends, nobody loves golf more than you. What does it mean to you?
I love to be outside and just kind of just being with friends, right? Or being with, you know, when Joey and I play, you know, those are just, you know, magical times when you're out and you're with your buddies or your kids, and you're just having fun, and it's a great sport because you can never master it, right? There's always something, like, you know, one day you'll feel, oh God, I was great off the tee, and then next day not so great, right? So it's just always something that you're just trying to figure out, and a lot of it's mental.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on. What's your favorite course? Do you have a favorite course in Minnesota or Wisconsin, or a course that means the most to you?
I would say Erin Hills in Wisconsin is probably the course that I personally love to go to. You know, we've been out there with JP and just had some. It's such a fun, neat golf course. Really wide fairways. Every hole is framed by the fescue. You know, the high grass. Greens are so much fun to putt on, and then just when you're done, they have that, you know, putting green that you can, you know, play with your buddies and yeah, I love it. You know, Joey and I have been out there. It's a great experience.
Yeah, Joey's his son. He's got.
I'm sorry.
We'll talk about this later. He's got three great kids. Joey is his son, who's been out to Aaron.
Obviously the favorite, since he's the only one who's talked about. So.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, the other two don't golf, so that's the issue.
Yeah, we love Lucy and Abby just as much.
Just as much.
Favorite course you've ever played? Maybe it's still Aaron Hills, but is there a different course?
I would say Pebble.
Okay.
I would say Pebble. I've played Pebble 3 times, and
Nice.
you know, the first time I was like, you know, weather wasn't great. You know, that's the thing. When you get out there, sometimes on the peninsula, it's not great weather, right? And so I don't think I appreciated it as much. And then the second time I was just like, oh my God, you know, it was a beautiful like today. And you know, when you're playing the holes off the ocean, it's just, they're just so, you know, you've seen them on TV a million times, right? And then to be out there live is pretty great.
Yeah.
You're-
Okay.
just to clarify, Pebble Beach, not Pebble Creek.
Pebble Beach. Pebble Beach.
But
you.
Pebble Beach is not. I mean, Pebble Creek is
right
not
behind.
off the peninsula.
We have played Pebble Creek on Becker a lot, actually. That was one of our courses in college. In the summers, we'd go to a lot.
College, high
and
school.
It's a lot of fun. And there's on the first hole, there's a pond in front of the green, and we nicknamed it Bertie's Lagoon because. But
I
yeah,
think
Pebble
I hit-
Beach.
So I think I hit like 6 in the water. Like, I kept on going. You know,
It was tin
just
cup.
dropped. Yeah, just I'm gonna beat the water at some point. And I never did.
Bertie, I'm interested to hear the answer to this. What's your dream foursome?
That is a really tough question because there's so many different people that I would love to play golf with, right? So if you went like straight sports, you know, I think it would be Michael Jordan, it would be Wayne Gretzky, it would be Joe Montana, and
Okay.
then probably that's the foursome because I'm the fourth.
Yeah.
We can't play 5. Yeah. So just kind of growing up, those were, you know, different stages of my life, you know, sports heroes, you know, people that I looked up to, and so that would kind of be, you know, if I tied into sports, that would be my dream foursome.
I'd like to see you stare down Jordan or Joe
Exactly.
Montana after you sink a long putt.
I do have a quick Jordan story if you got a second.
Oh yeah.
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 So I'm gonna name drop 2 things at this point. I was playing Shadow Creek in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we were on the 7th hole. It's a par 3, and all of a sudden you hear this really loud music coming up behind us. It was super loud, and someone was rocking out, and it was Michael Jordan coming up behind us. And so we let him play through. It was super nice. Asked us a bunch of questions. Got up and down for the bunker, and it was just to see someone up close like that on the golf course was a pretty cool thing.
What song was he playing?
It's not in my playlist. You know, if you know what I'm saying, like
Yes.
it wasn't. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's great. And all the times we've golfed, I don't know if I've ever asked you a couple of questions, so that was fun to hear. Bertie's also a really good coach. So we coached years ago. You and I coached starting out JV at Eden Prairie, and you also coached Eden Prairie varsity for a long time, assistant coach. And then how many years have you been an assistant coach at St. Cloud State now, goalie coach?
Assistant coach, director of player development. So I think this is my 10th year.
Okay. So I'm gonna say, do you have a favorite player that you've coached?
I don't
And
know.
what- or a favorite couple that come to mind, like?
So I think it's a whole. I think it's a whole team. So we made it to the national championship game, and it was post COVID, kind of in the middle of COVID, post COVID. So we were, testing weekly. We had to go to a pod for our conference playoffs in North Dakota. And just that group of guys, our 3 goalies that we had were outstanding young men, and they just, that as close of a group as I've seen. and then kind of our path in the national tournament. We beat BU in our first regional, and they had a bunch of high-end draft choices, and then we beat BC in the regional final, and they had Boldy and Spencer Knight was their goalie, so they were loaded as well. And we just had a bunch of guys that just loved each other and would do whatever it took, and we got some puck luck along the way, and that's what you need in those environments.
Yep.
But that was a really special group, so I would say that was my favorite group to be around.
Yeah, and I don't, Bertie's a humble guy, even though he's been name dropping stuff today, but he's really humble as far, and with your coaching, you're great at building relationships. So I was super curious to hear that, and I just remember when you were going on that run, just how much you talked about how you loved that group and how they deserved it. Like some groups, you're like, oh man, I want them to get far, or you want them to get far because they deserve it, or they do things the right way. And that's cool. What are your thoughts on all the recent college hockey now compared to 10 years ago? It's like a different planet. Like, what are your thoughts now with the portal and NIL and there's all this stuff going on, the CHL, those guys being able to come down and play? Any thoughts on that and how it's changed the landscape? Yeah,
I think it's changed a lot. I think two major things. When the kids from Major Junior came into the NCAA, I think that pushed down and pushed out some kids that normally would have been playing college hockey. So that was kind of hard to see. You did pick up some more skill, so that was a benefit. I still think it's kind of a work in process. I don't know if anybody really knows what the end is going to be on that, but it definitely add kids to be able to go and recruit that were drafted, higher skilled kids in some cases, and they play a different style. It's more structured coming out of the major juniors. College hockey can be a little bit of chaos sometimes. So I think it took a while for some of those kids to kind of learn, okay, how am I going? I'm skillful, but how am I going to be successful in college hockey? Interesting enough, the four goalies that were in the Frozen Four all at some point had played major junior hockey. Okay. So yeah, really? So that was kind of an interesting thing at the end of the day. And then your other question about NIL, that's just crazy, because, it's hard to understand why some athletes are getting paid what they're getting paid, right? And, certain teams can afford it based off of what they're getting in, and then it's harder for other teams. So it's not really a level playing field, right? If you go back, doesn't seem like it. No, if it was still difficult, 7 years ago, but everybody felt like they had a fighting chance. Now it's just getting trickier, right? And you're having to be creative with your approach to kids, and really you have to have a message. This is who we are. This is what we bring to the table. This is how we can help you. And really, schools that have a strong message on why, for example, St. Cloud State, these are the reasons why you would want to be a Husky, right? And hopefully the kids, believe in that. Yeah. Okay. Still staying in the hockey vein. So Bertie's a great dad. He and Kelly have 3 great kids. They've got Abby, Joey, and Lucy. Hockey didn't stick with Abby. Totally fine. We still love you, Abby. Joey and Lucy were both really good goalies. And Joey actually won a state championship with Edina. Lucy was a standout goalie all through youth and in high school. More nervous when you were the goalie in the 1988 state championship game, or any of those section finals on 87 or 88 or 89, or watching your kids play goalie? What's nervier for you? Well, I don't necessarily remember much from the high school run, but I would say watching. I wouldn't say nervous, because you're just so excited that they're out there doing what they love to do, right? I think it's more sometimes being a goalie, you want them to you want them to have success because it is a hard position to play.
Yeah.
And I know how hard both of them had worked to get to where they got to, right? And so I think sometimes that's just more the emotion of that, right? Same thing when I watch Abby dance, you know, knowing how hard she has trained to do those things. You're just more like excited, but you just want the best for them because of how much it means to them at the end of the day, right? So, and it's you know, I just love to watch them do whatever. You know, it's you know, just a great joy.
Yeah. Well, Lucy's I mean, she's a 3-sport.
Yeah.
She plays tennis and she plays lacrosse, and you guys are great about going to everything. It was cool, like watch, like, and my wife Karen and I have watched Joey play and Lucy play, and like some people when they're watching their kid play sports, you can't sit next to them. They're like, oh, don't, and we could always sit with you guys, and obviously you want them to do well, but it was like you could still sit and talk. So you guys have a really good perspective. I think where some people, again, it puts pressure, I think, on their kids when they're sports.
I think the only time, I know I blacked out the last 3 minutes when Dino was playing Chanhassen in the state championship game. That was one time where I was just like, you know, because you want it so badly for them, you know, and to get that close and just know that group and how close they were together, and so, but that's probably been the moment where I was just like, I don't remember what you were thinking or feeling at that point.
You didn't do anything dumb. I'll try. Yeah,
no,
even though you blacked out, I'll vouch for you. So Bertie's also a successful business owner. He owns Fields Manufacturing out of St. Cloud. Mm-hmm. And you do a great job with that, and the company's grown and is flourishing, and you've navigated COVID and all this stuff. But what kind of owner and boss do you try to be? You have a lot of employees. What kind of boss do you try to be?
Yeah, I think that's changed as I've gotten older, right? I think when I was younger, I tried to probably, you know, micromanage and kind of have my hands in everything, right? And then I just kind of learned over time, and a lot of it was just through coaching and having kids, and you know, a lot of times you just want to stay out of the way, you know, let them do what they do, make sure that they're trained well, and have the opportunities to help the company, the business grow, right? And really at the end of the day, we're just a large family, you know, so just trying to make sure that everybody is respected and feels that they have what they need to get their job done.
Okay. I should have probably, as I introduced Fields Manufacturing, Bertie, quick elevator speech on what do you do at Fields Manufacturing? So what does your company do?
So I guess the term nowadays is merch. It used to be promotional products, but now it's merch. So we're a merch supplier, and a lot of our goods come from domestically, but we do also import from Asia. And then we bring the goods in and we imprint them with different corporate logos. And so we deal through distributors who then sell to the end user. So it's been a really good business, super interesting. Get to meet a lot of really, really nice people, both our suppliers and then also our customers. But yeah, it's kind of a niche market in kind of that marketing space.
Okay, all right. You explained that a lot better than I would have. Thanks. All right, last one. 9th question, emergency 9. You're a successful business owner. What's a credo, or do you have a mantra or a credo that you try to live by?
I think it's just going right back to hiring good people and then let them do what they do, right? And not, you know, it's okay for someone to have a different opinion than what I would have, right? And a lot of times they're right. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely don't know everything, right? So just really having good key people that help our company do what it does.
All right. Well, this is great. This is fun, Bertie. Just having a mature conversation up the round. Thanks for the round today.
This might be the longest mature conversation.
Yeah, really good, really good. No, but yeah, thanks.
And we also have to do
us.
a shout out to Kelly, my wife.
Oh, huge shout out to the MVP.
Yes.
The real MVP.
Seriously,
yeah.
yes. Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for her, I couldn't do what I do, and the kids wouldn't be unbelievable kids that they are today, or young adults, I should say. Yeah, they're not kids anymore.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah, she's been huge in
90%.
in our
Kelly, do you think?
family. 90,
at
90,
least?
95. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Bertie. Glenn, anything else you got?
No, it was a pleasure, Bertie, as always. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You're top of the list of who we asked to golf because you're the best. Why are you laughing at that?
Thanks, Bertie.
Thanks, man.
Yep. All right.
All right, great stuff, Twig. Your interviewing skills. This was the first one you conducted all on your own, and you just drilled it out of the park. Bertram definitely comfortable with you. That's apparent. So, great job. Fun guy. Bertie, great guy to golf with. Great guy to be around. Has had a lot of success in his life, but he'll let you know about it sometimes. But overall, he's pretty humble.
Yeah, and Bertie and I have been friends since grade school. So he's gone on to a successful coaching and successful business career, and he's a great dad and a great family man. So I've been friends with him since probably age 9, and I learned a few things today too in the emergency 9. So it was great to sit down with him, and always good to play.
Yeah. No, I just love hearing people's perspectives on all these questions. So it's fun. It doesn't always have to be someone famous. I just like to hear what people have to say about golf, about the people they look up to, and about their keys to success in life. So great job. Thank you, Bertie, for being out there today. It was a blast golfing with you, as always, and it won't be the last time we play with him this summer. As we wrap up here, let's do one more thank you to Yellowbird Coffee.
Yeah, Northeast Minneapolis, St. Paul on Selby, both great locations. Pop in, especially now that the weather's getting nice. You can grab a cup of coffee on your walk around the neighborhood. If you're in there, ask for JP, and regardless whether he's there or not, they're going to treat you well, and they have great coffee.
Yep, they do. Okay, so that's going to do it for us. We are full steam ahead. We're knocking out these episodes. We're scheduled to play some more rounds. So we're going to keep pumping these out all summer long. We're excited to play our next one, get our next guest. We'll share that with you guys soon. And please follow us on our social channels, Golf Loons MN. Our website is golfloons.com. You can contact us through that, and we love to hear the feedback. Appreciate everyone joining us. Hopefully everyone's playing a lot of golf right now. We're in the season that we spend all winter looking forward to. It's here. Savor it. Get out there when you can. Hopefully you got family members that enjoy playing too, and like you do. And until the next time, trust the club face. Cheers, everybody.
All right, cheers. Enjoy your round at Chaska Town.
Where'd we play?